So I want to talk a little bit more about this third point, access to talent, and to take this case study of PayPal. So I don't know if you've heard the term PayPal Mafia before, but this is basically how it breaks down. So you have this group of really, really intelligent people. I wish there was a woman up there, but they're all dudes. And you see these, basically what they did at PayPal and then what they went on to do. And that in itself, that's not a coincidence. I mean, they were really looking for the best talent that they could bring on, even when they didn't even know that they were PayPal. And this is phenomenal, that they've almost all gone, I mean, basically all these guys up here have gone on to found, internet services that change how we do things like stay in touch with our family or communicate within a company, or transfer money to our family overseas, or drive. Hopefully someday I'll have a Tesla. So it's just really important to know that you want to draw upon not only people that you take a chance on, but people that you've worked with before. And this is what we should all aspire to have happen, is all of this talent come out of a company that we found. Minimal predators. So in the case of Netflix, they were founded in a time when nobody was really thinking about DVD by mail, and nobody had actually done it. And a lot of times when you're presenting such a new idea, you get a lot of sort of negativity or just dismissal. And Blockbuster actually was quoted by saying that Netflix was very niche, they weren't worried about them at all. And basically what they did was they took that opportunity. They weren't deflated by that. They actually were really excited about not having direct competition, and they just pushed forward. And so here you have this unique offering that was well on its way to winning before anybody thought that oh, you could actually change user behavior and this would become, a great business. And then extreme seasonality. So it's inevitable, and I think it's also unavoidable, and you have to always think about disaster scenarios. And I would say that when we were starting Eventbrite, I'll be honest, we weren't thinking oh, in a few years we're going to have this economic, downturn, and everybody, and resources are going to dry up, and perhaps our business is going to be in jeopardy. But we did know that by being capital efficient and treating each dollar that we spent as our own, which just so happened to be at that time, would be a great way to build a good business. And that, I think, it's such a huge part of growing a successful startup. And I think that even if you do raise money, and even if it is capital intensive, you have to really think about every dollar you spend. I mean, now that we actually have capital and it's not our own money, it's hard for me to remember that, because every dollar that we spend, I want it to be meaningful. Yes, we have to dig in, we have to spend to grow, but I want us to really think about why we're spending and make sure that it's really going to help us move the needle. And in the case of now we're 50 employees, so in the case of culture, I think we have a good yin and yang between Kevin and I, and I'm sort of pushing a little bit more to find ways in which we can create a sustainable culture in our company by spending a little bit of money that goes a long way. And so, it's kind of neither here nor there, but one of those ways is food. I mean, food is just like the holy grail of employee satisfaction. So what we do is we cater 3 lunches a day, 3 lunches a day. 3 lunches a week. We're hungry people. 3 lunches a week and 2 breakfasts a week. And we did that by, we came up with that schedule by sort of crowdsourcing what everybody sort of wanted more of, because we're not going to just throw it all at our employees and say, this is the de facto, we're going to cater every meal. We actually base it on milestones. So we had a great quarter, we met our plan. So we're kind of due for another meal to be catered, and so we put it out to our team, like, what would you rather want, another lunch or a dinner or a breakfast? And that's kind of how, and it's amazing how not only is it this effect of coming together and having this time every day to really talk and get to know your teammates as you get bigger, but it's this great reward that just goes a long way. Wow, that was a long diatribe off of this extreme seasonality. So my point here is that you just kind of have to always be prepared for disaster and to know that you have strong defenses when you're starting a business. So this is the startup organism, and I'm going to kind of talk quickly through three key aspects of a great startup. The first one is being highly efficient. So when Bibo was founded, they basically cracked the code for viral coefficiency. And so viral coefficiency means that if somebody sends an invite to another person and that person opens the invite and actually signs up and sends it to another person, you're basically viral, right? If you get over 1 in that mathematical equation, you're doing something right. And they really, really did that right. They were incredibly adept at creating a product and finding the right audience to create this viral coefficient that got them to tens of millions of monthly uniques before they even raised any money. And they also were a very small team, I think around 12 to 15 employees, and were making $1 million a month in revenue. So they became very profitable. They had a ton of visitors to the site, and they, raised their Series A finally at a $100 million valuation, and then sold to AOL for $850 million. And so for them, they were looking at how can we build the biggest service the quickest, and for all intents and purposes, they had a huge victory. Again, I won't talk about what happened after that, but this is an incredible example of how you can be extremely efficient with little resources. Being adaptive. So I talked a little bit about PayPal, but I wanted to tell you about the background there. So they actually started out as a mobile security company, and that was really, really, really ahead of their time. We're looking at, Kevin's involved in a service now called Lookout, which is mobile security, and they're doing really well, but I mean, to think that PayPal had thought of that, way back when they had first began, it's pretty incredible. So they had these really bright, talented engineers thinking about ways to innovate, and it was just not the right time. So they eventually moved to mobile payments, and the idea was that you could pay anybody over your mobile phone. That also didn't really catch traction, and so they went into the online payment space where, as I told you before, they were adopted by eBay users and had great success there. For YouTube, YouTube started as a video dating site, so they actually thought that they could be successful at having people, upload videos of themselves and create a conversation that way and create a dating atmosphere. But one day, somebody uploaded a video of a plane taking off, so right over them, and it garnered thousands of views, and that's when those guys thought, oh wait, this could actually be something else, and they took their very well-engineered platform and pointed it towards a different purpose, and basically, they were sold within, a little over a year. They were acquired by Google. And then as I mentioned, Bibo was very, very efficient. They also started out as something different. They started out as address book management. So it was that sort of, those annoying emails that you get that say, hey, can you email me back with your, update your address here, and then you have to sign up for the service to add your address. That's really what they started as, and then they morphed into a social network. And then lastly, you want to be differentiated. So for PayPal, they had built this system that was incredibly complex and incredibly unique in the way of detecting fraud. And so what they did was they sort of quietly behind the scenes built this service that would be extremely defensible to fraud. Everybody thought that transferring money online is really crazy and there's a ton of risk there. But what they did was they created these fraud mechanisms that really allowed for the good users to get through and the bad users to be blocked